We are halfway through the 2023 NFL season, and today I'm going to be breaking down my picks for the NFL Midseason Awards here. I'm going to be breaking down most valuable player, offensive and defensive players of the year, rookies of the year. I'm going to be breaking it all down with you guys here in just a second. But first, before we get into my MVP so far this season, make sure you click that subscribe button for NFL coverage wall-to-wall for free every single day here on YouTube via Chat Sports. We give you guys daily content on the National Football League, college football, NBA. We got you guys covered with the biggest stories in sports every single day. So make sure you click that subscribe button right now. And let's start with my MVP halfway through the season here. And yes, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. This is definitely a close race. I don't think that any one person has really separated themselves as the true front runner right now. But when I look at Patrick Mahomes right now, and he's just doing so well in just about every single category, top 5 and most of the big advanced statistical categories right now, on target percentage, kind of shows you how accurate a quarterback is. 82.6% of his passes are right on target. That's second in the National Football League. The only one higher is Dak Prescott right now, the Dallas Cowboys. His Pro Football Focus grade is at an 87.1. That's an elite grade. That is top 5 in the National Football League. Estimated points added, a big saber metric. 78.6, that's also top 5. And then what really gets me here is that points above replacement, wins above replacement. You guys know, if you guys are familiar with Moneyball, all these different stuff that NFL GMs use to kind of determine the value of players, that's what points above replacement and wins above replacement represent. And this guy is still number 1 in both categories. It was the same thing last year. So until somebody takes Patrick Mahomes off of this pedestal here, I'm still going to have him as the league MVP. He's the league's best player. He's been the most valuable player to this point, sabermetrically. And given that he doesn't have really a true number 1 outside receiver, he's got a great tight end in Travis Kelce, but he's definitely had to really make do with not a great wide receiver core. He's completions to 15 different receivers this year. That's the most in the National Football League, so that's definitely great for Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the most valuable player. But some honorable mentions here. Lamar Jackson is the betting favorite at this point in the NFL season to win NFL MVP. Could absolutely be Lamar as well. And then also Josh Allen. Josh Allen's the number 1 highest graded quarterback according to Pro Football Focus right now. He's also a very valuable quarterback in terms of points above replacement. So when I look at the MVP conversation right now, you could even go Tyreek Hill if you really want to, but nobody has really differentiated themselves to this point in the year. But if you're going to ask me to pick one person to be this year's most valuable player after 9 weeks, I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. Let me know your MVP down there in the comments section. Who's the MVP of the league through the first half of the season? This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by let me know who your MVP is so far this year. Now let's go to Offensive Player of the Year, where I have Tyreek Hill, the Cheetah, as my Offensive Player of the Year to this point in the year. He's been an absolute game wrecker for the Miami Dolphins. Of course, we know how potent the Dolphins' offense is, and Tyreek Hill's the main engine of the offense. I said earlier that you could consider this guy for MVP, and these numbers show why. 69 receptions, nice. They got 15.6 yards per reception. That is astronomical right there for a wide receiver. Yards per game, over 108 touchdowns. If you have this guy in your fantasy team, I know he's on mine, you know just how valuable Tyreek Hill is to the Miami Dolphins offense. He is absolutely fantastic. One of the best wide receiver seasons we've seen in recent memory. Some honorable mentions, though. Christian McCaffrey is absolutely playing his butt off for the San Francisco 49ers to this point in the year. He's definitely pretty close. And then also A.J. Brown. If there's any wide receiver that rivals Tyreek Hill in terms of the overall impact that they've had on the field this year, it's A.J. Brown. You can't cover him. He's excellent after the catch. I mean, A.J. Brown it absolutely deserves to be a part of this conversation as well. And then we get TJ Watt here for my Defensive Player of the Year. And, you know, lots of people know I'm the Steelers host here at Chat Sports, so yes, I might be a little bit biased in this, but I watch TJ Watt on film literally every week on all 22 film. And once you watch this guy, I mean, you just see the value that he brings to the table for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is absolutely incredible. And the thing with TJ Watt, and the reason why I'm going with him as my defensive player of the year over guys like Myles Garrett, other players that are in the conversation as well, I think that TJ Watt not only brings sack production as an elite pass rusher, but he can also put him back in coverage. He has an interception this year where he read the eyes of Matthew Stafford against the Los Angeles Rams. And then also he provides the value in terms of forced fumbles. He is somebody that has led the league in forced fumbles since entering the National Football League, and it hasn't even been close for TJ Watt to this point. And he also has a fumble recovery for a touchdown this year. So I look at the numbers for TJ Watt to this point. He is the most valuable defensive player in the National Football League right now, in my opinion. He's got 10 sacks. That's right there at the top of the league. And, you know, when you put into account the other types of value that he brings to the table via turnovers, I just don't think Myles Garrett or any other defensive player really stacks up with TJ Watt at this point in time. Now, still to come here on the show, we got Rookies of the Year, we've got the Comeback Player of the Year, and we still have Coach of the Year. So make sure you guys don't go anywhere. But first, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Odds Are. You can go to oddsr.com/NFL Daily. If you do that, you're going to get a 30-day free trial. And the thing that I love about Odds Are is that it's like having a sports betting expert in your pocket. We know how hard sometimes it is to make money on these sports betting websites, but Odds Are uses AI technology to tell you which bets are smart to take, which ones maybe they're okay if you feel good about them, and which ones you absolutely should not take. And it's really easy. They have a red light, yellow light, green light system here where all they tell you is if it's red, don't bet on that, all right? If it's yellow, if you feel strongly about it, sure, it's about medium. And then if you see the green there, you can see it right there on the Cubs one there in the top right. It says value on it. It is green. That means it is a great value, and you need to be putting money on that one on the spread there for the Chicago Cubs, for example. So you can elevate your game today and join the smart betting revolution. Go get it right now at oddsr.com/NFL Daily for a 30-day free trial of this incredible AI technology to help you make more money on the sports betting market. Again, that's oddsr.com/NFL Daily. Right now, let's get to the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And this one's pretty obvious to me. I think everyone kind of acknowledges that it's C.J. Stroud, quarterback for the Houston Texans. And listen, man, this guy's been absolutely incredible to start the year. Our Houston Texans host, Jeremy Chuggs, thinks that this guy is the MVP of the league, and you take a look at his numbers here. I mean, they're pretty damn good, man. I'm not going to lie. 62.2 completion percentage, just under 300 yards per game passing, and then 14 touchdowns to just one interception. C.J. Stroud already has more touchdown passes in his NFL career, half a season, than Kenny Pickett, second-year quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, has in his entire career. So C.J. Stroud definitely lighting up the scoreboard this year. He's been absolutely fantastic. He's probably going to be the runaway favorite to win the Rookie of the Year trophy, unless Will Levis somehow comes and takes it. But I definitely don't see that happening. I do want to give an honorable mention, though, to Puka Nacua, wide receiver out of BYU, playing for the Los Angeles Rams. He has been fantastic. I mean, the Rams pretty much got another version of Cooper Kupp here in Puka Nacua. And to have two of those types of players, big, good blocking wide receivers that always get open. I mean, you can never have enough Puka Nacuas and Cooper Kupps on your roster. So I want to give a little shout out to Puka, but it's the quarterback position, and C.J. Stroud is freaking awesome. Then we get to the Defensive Rookie of the Year here. I'm going to give it to Jalen Carter right now. I mean, Jalen Carter, I cannot believe we let this guy fall to the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round of the NFL draft. This guy should have been either the first or second pick in the draft, given the way that he's come in, and he's been absolutely on fire. 16 tackles, 4 sacks, and 5 tackles for loss, and already 2 forced fumbles. This guy, when you watch him on film, he is so impactful on the line of scrimmage. It's incredible. He is the number 2 graded defensive tackle in all of football right now as a rookie. So as much as guys like Devin Witherspoon with the Seattle Seahawks have really done a great job, and he gets my honorable mention here, he's been fantastic. He's one of the highest graded corners in all of football. If anybody is kind of that Sauce Gardner that we saw last year, nobody's Sauce. Sauce was arguably the best corner in football in his rookie season. But if anybody has come on to the scene and really shown that they're a top-end corner right away, it's Devin Witherspoon. And it seems like that was a good pick for the Seattle Seahawks. But since they passed on Jalen Carter, is it really all that good of a draft pick? All right. Now, before I get into the rest of my picks here, I got Comeback Player of the Year and Coach of the Year to finish off today's show. But before I get into those, click that thumbs up icon right now. Like today's show if you're feeling generous. We really do appreciate everybody that likes our videos. Tells the YouTube algorithm to push our videos out to other NFL fans like yourselves. So if you want to help out our channel today and you're feeling generous, make sure you click that thumbs up icon. All right, now let's get to the Comeback Player of the Year, which is, of course, going to be Damar Hamlin. Now, I get that there's an argument to be made that because Damar Hamlin essentially doesn't play for the Buffalo Bills this year, he's been healthy, scratched most games, really hasn't played much for the Bills defense this year, that he shouldn't win Comeback Player of the Year. And instead, it should go to our honorable mention here, Tua Tagovailoa. But, you know, Tua is somebody that, of course, didn't miss a huge portion of last season. I get that he missed, some time. And, of course, he missed the playoffs last year. And, there's people that were concerned about his concussions. And he's been absolutely fantastic this year. Tua has really led the most potent offense in the National Football League to this point. But I think we just need to acknowledge the reality that Damar Hamlin, with everything that happened last year, being able to return and make an NFL roster, it pretty much locked up the Comeback Player of the Year award for him. Whether we like it or not, it's probably going to be Damar Hamlin. And then a little bit of a surprise here, okay? He's not even in the top 5 in Coach of the Year odds right now. But I'm going to go right now. If the season ended today, I'm going to give my Coach of the Year trophy to Kevin O'Connell, the Minnesota Vikings head coach. The Vikings started this season 1-4, and everybody thought their season was over. And Justin Jefferson's out. Right after that loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, everybody was like, this Viking season is done. Justin Jefferson is out for multiple weeks with a big hamstring injury. The defense isn't really playing all that well. All these different things. The run game's not getting going. And yet O'Connell has been able to get this team back, not only to 500, but past it. 4 straight wins, gets them to 5-4, and that's nothing short of remarkable. So if I'm picking a Coach of the Year right now, I am picking Kevin O'Connell for getting this Vikings team right back in the thick of it into the playoff race here. And if they end up making the playoffs, I think Kevin O'Connell needs to get serious consideration for the Coach of the Year trophy this year, because if he does that, he's going to be doing it with Joshua Dobbs, all right? And nobody thought that guy was a starter coming into the year. All right, now, I do want to say, though, that there's lots of great coaches in the National Football League. Lots of honorable mentions here. Dan Campbell is the betting favorite right now, and for good reason, right? He is the guy that everybody loves. He's got the great personality. Everybody in that locker room would run through a brick wall for that guy. Mike McDaniel is the evil genius of offensive play callers in the National Football League. DeMeco Ryans has, in 1 year, completely flipped the culture in Houston. And then Mike Tomlin, despite the Steelers being outgained in all 8 of their first 8 matchups this year, are sitting at 5-3. So all these coaches right here, I think, are deserving of the hype. So I wanted to give some honorable mentions here because there's lots of great coaches circling around the National Football League right now. But let me know who you guys think is the NFL's Coach of the Year through the first half of the year. Is it Dan Campbell? Is it Mike McDaniel? Do you agree with me and think it's Kevin O'Connell? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. I can't wait to see some of the names you guys put down there in the chat. That'll be it for today's show, people. Really do appreciate you guys sticking with me to the end here. Make sure you click that subscribe button for more NFL coverage throughout the 2023 season. And until next time, guys.